Hey, what's up? My name is Erik Escobar. I'm from beautiful Anaheim, California. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a heterosexual male, and I'm married to my beautiful partner. Been together for two-ish, three-ish. I should know this for a while. We've been together for a while.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad that I got you on here. I wasn't really sure where you were from because I know I've seen you up here and I know I've seen you in Vegas, but I wasn't sure where you actually come
Alaska,
from.
flying back and forth. No, I'm I'm in beautiful Southern California. I love it. I used to be more in like LA proper. Got married, couldn't afford LA, so we decided to move on down to Anaheim. Now I'm more or less next to Disneyland. It's great. I can wake up, make a tea, make a coffee, light a joint, get on a ride, be back in time to make my girl breakfast. So it's a pretty great situation, and I'm glad how it worked out.
Good, good. Okay. I was going to ask you something else. I forgot what it was now.
We were talking about how you weren't sure where I was from. I've had the honor of going to the Northwest a lot because you're Portland based.
Seattle, Tacoma.
Oh, yeah, word, cool, awesome. I love it out there. I've been doing a bunch of stuff out there, and when I saw you at Area 15 in Vegas, I kind of was thrown for a loop too, because I'm like, oh my god, this is wait, no, she's not a Vegas comic. Is she a Vegas
We're just
comic?
doing a do-si-do, taking turns going to each other's cities and stuff.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, that was a fun show. Was that your first time doing it or you done it before?
It's my second time doing it. I'm really into it. I feel like I would
Hang
love
on,
to hear.
let's explain what the show was. The show is in Vegas. It's at a place called Area 15 and it's called Silent but Deadly. Silent
Mhm.
but Deadly. Is that what it's called?
Silent but Deadly. Yes, run by
Yeah.
the wonderful Haley, who's amazing.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
interesting because I don't know if the listeners out there are familiar with a silent disco, but it's very much that energy. You know what I mean? That type of vibe.
Right. And so the audience is all wearing headphones. Well, we were wearing headphones too, and we just talked to the microphone, and the sound went into their ears instead of into the air.
Because
Um,
the venue's very loud. It's not a
right.
library. It's not a it's not a usual
Yeah.
club. There's a million things going on. I'm a big fan of Meow Wolf. There's one in New Mexico. There's one in Denver. They're all over. Things one in Austin, but that's right next to it. But then there's maybe about three or four bars scattered out around
Right.
you. You got a bar in front. They have kind of like this industrial music kind of going on. There's lights
Right.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's wild how overstimulating it is when you walk in the best way possible. But then as soon as you're in
Mhm.
that show, you put in those headphones, and it's like, oh, this is what's happening
Right.
now.
Yeah.
Out.
So it's different than a regular comedy show. It's the same, but it's different. Um, because it's hard to really hear the laughs from up there, especially if you have the headphones on. And I think it's because I was down lower. I couldn't really see anybody except for whoever was just right next to me. So the whole time I'm thinking nobody's laughing, but I'm just going to keep going. But it was a fun show. It was good.
It's the only show I've ever done where, not when we were together, but the last time I did the show, I'm pretty sure I saw a couple break up. And it was kind of beautiful because they were like kind of fighting and breaking up in the middle of the show, and no one knew. Like the
Right.
comics were like, "Oh, they're like getting in a big fight. What's going on?" But really, everyone's just watching you, and it's crazy how blocked out they are to everything else going
Uh-huh.
around.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if this were to happen at a show, this is the best show for it to happen to.
Yeah. It was interesting. All right. You ready to go play a Mary Shag Kill?
Yes, I would love
All
to.
right. Let me go get it. Wait, let me go make sure that nothing that I don't want anyone to see is showing
All right,
first,
all right.
like a private chat or something. Okay.
I'm dedicated to my partner. I love her so much, but I will view this through 4 or 5 years ago single Eric vibes. All right,
All
little
right.
disclaimer.
Yeah.
Sorry, XYZ, who I choose to marry.
Okay.
Taken. Oh my God, forgot the ring. What's going on?
Share. All right. Can you see this yet?
Yes, I see it. I see
Okay.
it.
All right.
I'm not there. You
So
go.
there's going to be three people. You got to marry one. You got to shag one. You got to kill one. I always try to orient it to the person, not just do random celebrities or whatever. And
Wow.
because your name is basically an alliteration with the double E's, I gave you alliteration celebrities. So we have
I like
Amy Adams, the double A's. We have Lucy Liu, the double L's, and Melissa McCarthy, the double M's. Who are you
oh
going to
man.
marry? Who are you going to shag? Who are you going to kill?
Oh man. Okay. All right. This is hard. So this is what I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna marry Lucy Liu. I'm gonna start with Mary. I'm gonna marry her because I feel like I'm an Asian American. She's an Asian American. I think culturally, there's a lot of stuff there that, like, we can vibe
Right.
with, live about. I really, I didn't really look at race as a thing when I was like dating or marrying anyone. But I'm Filipino. My partner's Filipino, and it's wild just how much of that culture that we really cherish and share and love. So,
Right.
kind of a surprising thing to discover when you end up marrying someone. But yeah, I love that we're both Filipino American.
Okay.
Lucy, fellow Asian American, gonna marry you. I think I'm gonna shag Melissa McCarthy. I think I'm gonna shag her in a respectful way. Double M, you're a beautiful lady. You're wonderful.
She's going to
Um,
bring the fun to the party.
but here's the thing, she will bring the fun, but it's a different type of fun than Amy Adams, who I think is also very fun, but I'm just getting so much of a theater kid vibe off her. And
Yeah.
as another theater kid, we either vibe really hard or the drama and intensity is too much. So I
Hmm.
feel like me and Amy Adams in a room might be a little too wah! So I'm sorry, Amy, that's why I'll have to murder you dramatically. I'll murder you dramatically.
All
No.
right. Bye, Amy.
Hi, Amy. We love you though. Now you see me. Now you don't.
Yeah, she's gone that quick. Okay.
Do you also get to respond in these? I would love to hear your.
Sometimes, well, I did do an episode of this. I had a friend ask me the questions, and people sometimes, if I ask them a question, they will ask me back, like, well, what did you say to this? But anybody that watches this regularly knows all my dirty stories, and I'm probably really bored of them. So, um, have you ever
I'm
hooked up
craving
with anyone because of comedy or
because of
through
comedy.
comedy?
Yeah, like after a show or like my big rule when I was a comic and I wasn't seeing anyone, I was single and stuff, is sometimes there might be that attraction with another comic, but I would never date or remotely even think about another comedian in that type of romantic-y way.
Mhm.
Um, but with people in the audience, you like you, the big old CFs. I'm a Christian boy. I won't say the F word, but you know what I mean. After a show, works out pretty great. I would say probably one of the funnest comedy related hookups I had was I had a 4 or 5 hour layover in Denver. So I remember I was so bougie. I had the special Tinder and I Tindered my location to Denver, and I forgot where I was coming from, but I ended up hooking up with someone on a layover.
Oh,
Um, Not because of comedy, but I was on a layover for comedy, for travel, so I kind of count it.
right. That counts. That counts. Yeah. Um, did you like ever get the sex talk when you were a kid? Like, did anybody not only tell you about ovaries and sperm, but did anybody ever just really sit you down and tell you information about how to please a woman or what to expect?
Not really. No, I went to a private religious school my whole life. And I remember our sex ed, I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but our sex ed was kind of weird because all the guys are in one room and then all the girls are in one room. So it's kind of even like, whoa, we don't even know. Like, I would love to hear what their questions are, but we were separated. So, other than the regular junior high, here's what a thing is,
Right.
sign the letter, parents. Never got much. The closest thing I got from my parents was I remember I was probably 6, 7 years old, and I was watching I think a Letterman sketch, and Letterman had this bit where it was Viagra, but it was a nasal spray instead of like a
Oh,
pill.
right.
So this guy did the nasal spray, and then his nose got really big. And like the next bit, his nose was super big and super large. and I didn't get it. And I was like, I think I went to my dad and I was like, what is, I don't get it. Why is his nose so big?
Oh,
And he like looked at me as a 6 year old and he was like, well, when a man and woman have sex, sometimes the penis does not get erect. So the Viagra is a medication that will allow your penis to get bigger. And then he walked away. And
oh,
I had no idea any of the words he said. I had no idea what he was talking about. But that was the closest I got to probably a sex talk from my dad.
you probably had more questions afterwards than you did before.
Yeah, yeah. Like you do this for your elbow and then wrestle your buddies. You know what I mean? Like, all the
Right.
options. I don't want to be like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hell yeah.
How do you think your life would be different if your parents or someone had really like informed you of what to expect from sex in your lifetime?
Ooh, ooh. Interesting. I feel like when it comes to dating and attraction and finding that one for you, a big part of it is confidence. You know what I mean? If you lack that confidence, it comes off a little less attractive. If you have that confidence, sometimes it can be just that little extra, like, hey, girl, it's a little sexier, might I add you, a little more spice in the fire. That's not a saying. But that being said, I feel like if I was more sexually knowledgeable, because it was, I don't know, told to me by, I'm an only child, by like an older brother, older sister, by my parents, by cousins, or something. If I knew more, I probably would have approached my life in that romantic sexual way with a little more confidence because I would have known a little more what was going on. So I
Mhm.
see that as like the big difference if I did know more opposed to knowing less. But I've had a fine sexually confident life. I'm happy where I am.
Well, good. All turned out all right in the end.
Yeah.
Were your parents good relationship role models?
Ooh, I believe they were. Yes, sure. Well, like I said, only child. I've never had other parents, so I'm guessing they have. One thing about my folks, and traditionally now, I think it doesn't matter if you're, in your 20s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s. It doesn't matter how old you are now. A lot of people are having kids at a variety of ages. Where before, when I was coming up in the 90s, like a lot of parents were probably in their early mid 20s when they had their kids. My
Mhm.
parents were significantly older. So I feel it was interesting because I had older folks, a different, not a more mature, but just a different type of relationship was modeled to me as a child. Where if my parents were, in their teens or 20s when they had me, I think I would have seen a different relationship and a different side to
Right.
them.
Right.
So in a weird way, I feel like, they did their best. They're still together, they're doing just fine. They're great. But seeing that more that more years in side as a kid, I think definitely more my perspective on how relationships are and how to treat relationships, how to look at relationships in a slightly different way than someone who might have had younger parents.
Right. Okay. All right. So do you think that helped you in choosing your relationships?
A little bit. I feel like my mom was a very strong woman, a very powerful woman, and I think I've always been attracted to strong women. It's not that I don't think someone who's not like super intense is like unattractive, not at all. But I've always found that my longer term relationships were always were like bigger personalities, and I find that very interesting. I reflect
Yeah.
on it sometimes.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you do wake up and you realize you are married to your parent, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the older I get, the more I turn into my dad, and I'm like, oh man, my
oh, I know.
partner is marrying a younger version of him. Oh, geez, get
Uh,
ready. Yeah. Mhm.
um, so did you have like celebrity crushes when you were a kid?
Oh yeah. 2000. Ooh, I'm gonna say 12. Oh, 2002, 2003. There was a wonderful show on the CW called Smallville. It was all about Clark Kent in Smallville, Kansas, a teen living his life, and one Kristen Kruk was on that show. And boy, oh boy, was Kristen. She was a beautiful, still is. I haven't seen her in 30 years, but she's a beautiful lady. And I remember That was like my like first crush is like a 11-year-old, 12-year-old. I was like, wow, this Superman's girlfriend is beautiful. Also, I was always a big wrestling fan. And when I was a teenager, a very popular wrestler named Lita was hanging out with the Hardy Boys. And I wouldn't say it was her gimmick, but part of her attire is she would have a thong that just peeked out just a little bit over, just a little bit. And oh man, 11, 12-year-old Erik was could not handle that. I didn't watch it for the wrestling, the storylines. I watched it for Lita's hip.
um, do you have a certain physical type that you're attracted to?
Oh, my wife. She's definitely kind of the type of person that I've always been attracted to physically and her personality and just everything about her. She's the best. She's so beautiful. But I don't know, it was weird being half Asian and half Latino. I feel like I was always very attracted to other people who were Asian or Latino or also both. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier, something about sharing that culture, even just like having those familiar things, whether it's food or the language or just the way people are traditionally.
Right.
I was always more drawn to, I feel like.
Okay. Uh, how do you feel about porn? Do you watch porn?
Oh, not as much anymore. I have a kid and I'm a comedian and I don't have time to watch porn. I wish I did. That would be wonderful, but no. I just get excited when there's like a soft breeze that goes through my face. I'm like, that's my excitement for the day. That is what's going on.
Right, right. Do you think it had any effects on your life at all? Pornography?
Ooh, maybe. I feel like the culture I grew up in, I was probably in about junior high, high school, right when the internet was really getting big. So the access to my generation, it was weird because we were probably the last ones to know what it was like before that was even accessible. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it has. What's the result? I don't know. But yeah, I definitely had like my favorite categories and I had like my favorite sites and the things I would like watch over and over again. And I feel like that definitely has to influence personality somehow, no? I don't know how, but somehow.
I don't know. Why don't you tell us one of the categories and we can be the
Big
judge?
a lot of them are fake and I get it, but I was a big fan of the interviews. All right. I like an interview. Let's learn a little bit about you. You know what I mean? Like I think when it's just like, oh, here's a bunch of sex, you're like, that's cool. But when it's like, oh, she also likes comic books and metalcore from the early 2000s. Oh, more of a connection when I watch this. Oh, it's
Uh, okay, well that makes sense. Uh, how important is sex to you on a scale of 1 to 10?
ooh, I don't feel like it's everything, but it's definitely super important and it's nice and it's meaningful. Um, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give it a hard 8 inches. A hard 8 inches. There you go.
All right. Um, what's your definition of amazing sex?
Ooh, definition of amazing sex. I feel like I'm really into like escapism. Like I like the idea of like, wow, people create like virtual reality or theme parks or video games or these things that people can escape into. And I feel like there's so many types of escapism nowadays that we're a little desensitized. You know what I mean? Before you could watch a movie and just turn off your brain for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Now, you can barely keep your focus with like a 15-second TikTok video or Instagram reel.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like really great sex is one that really kind of like lets you escape from your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical body. Like during it, you're not overthinking. During it, you're not worried. You're not scared. You're not insecure. You're just kind of outside of your body having this beautiful experience with this other person. And the fact that it's almost like a dance, I feel like the more you can dance and kind of read each other and know what you're going to do and over communicate and be like, I like this and you like that, and serve them in that way. And I think that's really what makes sex really, really great. When you have that connection and you're lost for that, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 18 seconds, whatever it might be, but you're just, you know what I mean? You're just fully in it. I think that's what's
That's a great answer. All right. Let's go to the wheel of dirty questions.
Ooh, let's
Except I
go.
realized I didn't already pull it up, so we're gonna have to dig for it for a minute. It'll be fine
Let's
though. I can cut this part out. It shouldn't take too long. All right.
spin the wheel.
Oh, I didn't enable the sound, and now we're gonna not hear the sound of the spin wheelie.
Oh no,
Okay.
it's okay.
Where's
We
where's
visualize.
the part that says my wheels? There we go. Okay,
Uh,
here we go.
all right.
Only have to answer one. So, would you prefer to be in control or to be dominated?
Whoa. Oh man, that's a tough question because I feel like it's kind of depending on the mood. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're less for frisky, you want to take that control. Other times you're like, have at it. Um, in terms of what would I enjoy more? Um, oh man, I'm gonna go with control because maybe I like that control two more times out of every 50. Pretty neck and neck, but we'll go with the I like the power situation.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I've always been a person, like when I was single, I was always very much in control because I didn't want a man messing with me. So I was just very stern about how things were going to happen. And then when I met my husband, he was more like, he wasn't into that being submissive stuff at all. So I totally like switched roles, but then like lately I've been kind of like playing around a little bit with like, no, this is what you're gonna do. And I was like, oh, I forgot how much I like this. So I get that kind of want to switch it around sometimes.
You know what, Cheri? If you're a couple of shots in and a plate of oysters, you know what I mean? Maybe you're like, I'm revved up. Let's go. Other times, you know what I mean? I just had a joint. Let's just yeah, you have at
Right. Right.
it.
Yeah. How's your body image?
Ooh, terrific. And I'll tell you why. It's terrific because for a long time I was always a bigger guy. I think my biggest I was a little over 300, and I never minded showing off my body. I wouldn't say I was maybe a little bit insecure, but I wasn't deeply insecure about my body. I was what I was, you know what I mean? I would be in a bathing suit, be fine. Um, I eventually, so something I do is when I travel for comedy, I try to get a tattoo every state I perform in. I think it's about 30 states, 4 different countries, got 20 more to go. Oh God, 20 more to go. But that being said, I think right around the time I started traveling more and doing the tattoo thing and getting more tattoos, I also started losing weight. Um, Around 2020, really started aggressively being like, I'm going to do keto. I'm going to eat better. I was diagnosed with a couple health things, and I was like, if I don't want this to get worse, I got to eat better. So I lost about 120 pounds, about 180 right now. And I think I'm a mix of losing the weight and getting more tattoos made me almost super confident in my body image and be totally okay with wearing shirts and a tank top. Where before I was like, I don't know, or going to a water park or going to a pool or I don't know, just having more of my body out now is something that I think is like fun and exciting and like I celebrate. Where God, maybe 7, 8 years ago, I would have been like, oh, I don't know, like I'm not ashamed, but oh, let me put on this hoodie. So yeah, I'm really grateful every day that I put in the work and that health wise things are on the up and up. But
Mhm.
because of those two things, I think I'm more very like, ooh, I love my body. Who wants to see it now?
Right. Well, that's got to be freeing, right?
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
What's the best compliment you've ever gotten on your naked body?
Ooh, the best compliment I've ever gotten on my naked body. So, hey, I'm an ally. I love whoever you love. Power to you. I just want everyone to be happy and accepted and feel that amazingness. I'm a straight man, but I did a video for BuzzFeed years ago when I was still a big guy, where I was in a thong and they body painted my whole body, and then I walked around Hollywood to try and get reactions.
Mm.
And when that video came out, the amount of really positive things that people were saying from the bear community was wild. Oh man, I'm like, yo, I'm not gay, I'm not interested, but I really appreciate that you
Yeah.
think nipples are nice, or oh, the fact
Right.
that 10 of you in the last 20 minutes said you wanted to hit that. Oh, well, don't, but thank you. Thank you. There wasn't one specific comment that was out there, but just as a bigger guy, not really feeling, like super, super confident in my body, but good enough. And then to do this video and see a bunch of the comments be like, oh God, he's so great. I love that he's doing that, blah, blah, blah. Felt really validating and felt really nice. And I feel like more of us should compliment each other and spread those good vibes
Mm-hmm.
around.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I get a lot of, believe it or not, I get a lot of requests for nudes doing this show, I don't
Love
send,
it.
but
I was gonna say,
it's
make that
nice to
money.
be, it's nice to be asked. So, do you have any sexual regrets?
Oh, so I have a couple exes. I have a few exes. There have been people in the past where I'm like, maybe not.
Hmm.
In terms of sexual regrets, oh man, I you know what? I feel like maybe in my teens, I think I got out of this in like my early 20s, but in my teens, I don't think I knew that women orgasming were a thing. I don't think I just knew. So I feel like I had a lot of partners when I was, in that age range, and I was like, "Oh, I finished. Thanks. Let's cuddle now." You know what I mean? Eric, what are you doing? So I feel like I really regret. My whole rule when I was single and dating is if like one of us gets off, we both get off. You know what I mean? We're both gonna have a good time. So I feel like I was a selfish lover for the first few years when I was figuring it out, and I'm glad I'm not anymore. So lesson learned.
Well, all right. That's good. Where am I? Do you have anything left on your sexual bucket list that you haven't tried that you might want to try someday?
I don't think so. I've lived a happy life, happy with my life. I love my partner so much. She's my only one. She's great, and
Mm.
it's the best. It's the best. Talk about that escapism and like losing yourself and just like feeling so in love and so that cup is so full. So there's nothing more I'm craving or wanting or on the bucket list. Like I'm so happy.
Well, that's good. That's good. What do you have what's your host song? You got a song
My
that when you
host.
hear it, yeah, when you hear it, it kind of brings out your host spirit.
Ooh, what is my host song? Oh man. Oh man. I feel like there are songs that in the mid tens or maybe in the whatever it is. I feel like mid or early tens. I feel like that was when Eric would go to a club or two or go to a dance floor, and sometimes there are songs from that era where it's not like my host song where it's like, oh, I'm getting all rid of, but I'm just like, oh, whoa, I was really horny during that part of my life.
Right.
I don't know any late 2000s hip hop. I guess that'll be like that'll
Yeah.
stick a memory. I'm like, whoa.
I know there was something I was watching last night and a song came on and it was like, oh, this is a song that played when I was out dancing. And it just really made, brought all that feeling back, It was kind of nice.
I've only heard apple bottom jeans boots with the fur in like intense situations. It's never been at a coffee shop, you know what I mean? It's never been like
Right.
in a library. So that one I remember like, oh, that was fun a lot when I was younger. Yeah.
Um, what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is at Erik Escobar. That is Eric with a K, ErikEscobar. There's a couple Erik Escobars, but I'm the one. I got a little mic. It's a little cartoon version of me. Definitely check it out. If you see me by you, come on through. Say you heard me talk about sex stuff, and I'll be like, what? And it'll start a great conversation.
Cool. Now, this is going to come out Wednesday morning. So, do you have anything around that you want to, from there on, that you want to promote?
Yeah, actually, give me one second. Let me just make sure whether All right, cool. Um, I have a bunch of fun shows coming out, but tonight I'm actually going to be part of the cabaret as part of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. I'm in the Hollywood Fringe Fest this year as part of Peep. It's a great duo comedy show. You're going to love it if you come through. We have two more shows on the 22nd and 27th. Make sure you come out to the Hobgoblin Theater. Check it out. Peep, Hollywood Fringe. Google it. We love you. We appreciate you. Other than that, I'm always doing a ton of stand-up. You can see all my stand-up adventures on my Instagram. And I'm coming up to Oregon, coming up to the Northwest pretty soon in July. So I'm gonna be up by Cheri. It'll be great. We can probably talk more sex stuff in person. Is that allowed? I don't know if that's allowed. I think Zoom is the only thing I can do. I'm married. Oh my Lord. But catch my Instagram. See me come to all the fun places soon. Thank you.
All right, great. Now we're at the end, and all we have left is for you to tell me a story that has to do in some way with sex.
Okay, I have my sex story. It's an embarrassing sex story, but also I feel like I can be a little bit of an awkward guy, and the awkwardness of this one is chef's kiss. So let's go.
All right.
I was dating someone when I was in high school. We dated more or less from high school all the way throughout college, and we were never intimate for the first while. You know what I mean? Or we were high schools, but we were good kids. You know what I mean? We finally decided to take each other's virginity. Oh my Lord, we were gonna have sex. Oh wow. I've always had back issues, had a back surgery in my 20s, still a lot of nerve damage, still a lot of numbness, but a lot of that started in high school. And I feel like I was on some type of pain med that like took away like my sexual drive. And I didn't know this. I was like, take the Tanded. So we planned to finally have sex. And it was the first time in my life I couldn't, it was, so it was wild. Like I got it might happen if it's, maybe even having sex for a few months, maybe one time in your 20s or 30s, you're like, oh my God. But the first time I ever had like a weird ED situation from medication as a side effect was the first time we tried to have sex.
Oh no.
It was super embarrassing, but luckily that prescription ran out and fun times.
Did it make you worried like the next time you're going to try? Like, oh, I hope this doesn't happen again, or no?
It did, but it was more like, I don't know. I think in my weird manic brain, when it didn't work out, I was like, oh my God, what's going on? What's happening? Oh my God, well, my parents are home. Oh, we got to put this up. We'll figure it out. Let's go. Want to get pizza? Let's get some pizza. Oh, let's go to the bowling alley. Let's go hang out. And the next time I was like, oh, let's try it again. Yeah, let's try it again. So it was more, oh, it's,
yeah,
I'm now 20 years ago.
Well, I'm so glad that I coerced you into talking with me. You are pleasant as hell, and I look forward to the next time we see each other.
I do too. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. It's always like a wonderful thrill getting to run into friends on the road, like especially in your hometown, and in the Northwest. But to be in Vegas and run into you, celebrating your 21st birthday, might I add, your 21st birthday. It really was a treat. And when stuff like that happens, it's serendipitous, leads to this stuff. So sending nothing but love and positivity and joy. And thank you so much, friend. Thank you.
All right. Bye. Have a good one.